Hey, do you know when this is good? It's here.
Oh, no.
All right, I guess somebody needs it. So.
All right, Jim, we are live whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Heather. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town of Henrietta Planning Board meeting scheduled for Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. I want to begin this evening by indicating that if there's anybody in the audience or online that's here for the Riverton Parcel E application, the applicant has pulled that item from tonight's agenda. The town will let everybody know when that item is rescheduled to appear before this board in the near future. First item this evening is a public hearing on application number PB 325, Clay Road subdivision for preliminary subdivision approval of a 3-lot subdivision of the 19.55 acres located northeast of the corner of Clay Road and Strassenberg Drive in an industrial zoned district. Will the secretary please take the roll?
Craig Eckert,
Here.
Rick Page,
Here.
Patricia Brill,
Here.
Stephen McIntyre,
Here.
Lawrence Neal,
Here.
Matthew Borkowski,
Here.
and James Gruner as chair.
Here, thank you. So again, a public hearing is being held before the Henrietta Planning Board today, Tuesday, October 13th at 7 p.m. in the main meeting room, 475 Calkins Road, Henrietta, New York, 14467, to hear all persons with regard to the following applications. Application number PB 325, Clay Road subdivision, again, preliminary subdivision approval of a 3-lot subdivision of a 19.55 acres located northeast of the corner of Clay Road and Strassenberg Drive in an industrial zoned district. This public hearing is being held so that you, the general public, can present your opinions to the Henrietta Planning Board regarding subdivision concerns specifically limited to trees, the lots themselves, open space, the infrastructure, utilities, sidewalks, and flood-prone areas. Who is here this evening representing the application number PB 325? Good evening. May I have you step up to a mic and again introduce yourself? And if you have a business card, you may leave that as well, please.
My name is Martin Gottwald, PLS. I am representing DDS Companies for the Clay Road subdivision tonight.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments regarding this application in the room this evening? If there are no more comments regarding this application, I therefore close the public hearing. The planning board will now adjourn the public hearing of tonight's meeting. Mark, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2 on the agenda is application number PB 325, Clay Road subdivision. Again, for preliminary subdivision approval of a 3-lot subdivision of the 19.55 acres located northeast of the corner of Clay Road and Strassenberg Drive in an industrial zone district. Mark, I think you're up again, and I'll let you discuss the project if you like.
This is for the Clay Road. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. Thank you,
I
Patty.
think John Clark was supposed to come for you're talking about 4799.
Can I interrupt you just a moment, please? I'm sorry. I was remiss here. Actually, I missed our minutes from the last meeting. So let me take a moment to get a potential approval on the minutes from the last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mrs. Brill. Do I have a sufficient second?
Second.
Mr. Eckert? Thank you very much. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Thank you. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Mark, now I go to you. And thank you very much.
Okay. This is for the Clay Road
Yes,
subdivision.
PB 325, correct, the subdivision approval.
Okay. We're just trying to separate the parcel into 3 lots. One is going to be a 30-foot wide strip that's adjacent to the northwesterly adjoiner, and that property is going to be combined with that 330 Clay Road where the Amazon property is there. And then there's going to be approximately a 6-acre parcel on the south that is also going to be sold to the same owners for their use for development. And then the remainder will stay with Clay Road Properties LLC.
Okay, thank you. The board will recognize Mrs. Brill,
Thank you.
or the chair, I'm sorry, the chair will recognize Mrs. Brill.
I have a question regarding the reducing the transitional buffer.
Okay.
Is this going through? I don't think it is. My light on? You hear me? Okay. Going down to half the footage.
Yeah, Katie, I can address that.
Thank you.
Chris Martin, Director of Engineering and Planning. So we made some code changes last year, and one of them.
Chris, can you grab a microphone, please?
Oh, hold on. There we go. Thank you.
Let's try this again. Chris Martin, Director of Engineering and Planning. So last year, we updated our code to add transitional buffers. So what that is, if you have, in this case, industrial development that's next to a residential development, in this case, it's the Clayton Road Apartments, a 100-foot transitional buffer is required. However, the planning board can grant a waiver on that and can reduce that buffer by 50% if they feel that there's enough screening and things like that to make that transition okay, or the buffer okay. So the planning board, if they would like to, they can reduce that buffer from 100 feet to 50 feet. So that's something that the planning board should act on tonight as part of this approval, whether it's a yes or a no.
Do we have any drawings to look at landscape-wise to see what potential new landscaping would be added?
I don't have any from DDS. I believe an engineering firm might have been putting those together.
Yeah, and I will add that there was an administrative application that was done for the parking lot that's being done for the Amazon project. And as part of that, they did have landscaping to act as a buffer in through there.
Okay, thank you. That was my main area of concern, and as long as we can address proper buffering to the residential portion, I'm okay with that. Thank you.
Also, Mrs. Brill,
I am,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much.
the chair will recognize Mr. Borkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
To make this easy, we have 10 comments from the engineer. I mean, Mrs. Brill already hit one. Is there anything in here you cannot answer to?
No, sir. All the comments have been addressed. I have updated plans with me tonight if you'd like to see those.
Excellent, good. And Mr. Martin, as much as we're supposed to make a decision on this transition or the buffer reduction, in your opinion, are we okay doing that?
Yes, we've looked at it. Right now, it's just a parking lot. There is some landscaping, like I said, along the southern border to the parking lot. So certainly, it would be my recommendation to grant the relief and go to the 50-foot requirement.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, for the record, if the engineer is okay with it, I am. I don't know if you want to poll us while we're doing this, but I'm okay with the buffer reduction. Other than that, I have no other questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Borkowski. Chair will recognize Mr. McIntyre.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Chris, that was my only concern too, was this 100-foot buffer reduction. Could we also do this during a lot development, or does it have to be done during a subdivision?
No, it could be during a site development as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be for a subdivision. This just worked out better because the other project was an administrative site plan since it was a parking lot. However, as part of that process, they had to subdivide the lots out. So that's why it made sense to do it with this application.
Do we have any idea of what they plan on using the lots for?
Yeah, so in this particular case, it would be for so with this parcel, if you remember, there was going to be the T-Mobile site, and that was going to be further to the east. but it was going to be along, that portion was more along the expressway. This one is right in back of the stormwater management facility. And it's just a parking lot to hold the Amazon trucks. As you know, right now, they expanded to the north last year, but because of demand, they need more parking space. Some of the vehicles have been parking off-site, like at the Dome Arena. I think I've seen some at Marketplace Mall as well. So this will bring them back home, close to where the Amazon facility is on Clay Road.
Is the applicant requesting the reduction in the landscape buffer? Or is
Yes.
this strictly,
Yeah, and that was part of the Amazon, they're requesting that for the Amazon project, which is being done administrative.
I mean, for this subdivision approval, was the applicant requesting the reduction in the landscape buffer for this subdivision?
I believe so, yes.
They did.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, for the record, I'm in favor.
Thank you, Mr. McIntyre. Mrs. Brill, let me go back to you. Any thoughts on the buffer? You comfortable with the reduction?
Yes, I confirm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And just to confirm what you just said, Steve, you said, you asked the question if the applicant asked to reduce the landscaping.
The landscape buffer, if it came from them to ask for a reduction.
Thank you.
The buffer would allow for more parking spaces. That's why they would like to reduce it, I believe.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Tim Harris with Passero Associates. Sorry, I'm incognito on the interweb here. Working with Marty here on the site development end of things. And if I could interject just 2 seconds, if I could.
Yes, thank
If
you.
that's okay. Yeah, no problem. To kind of answer the buffer question, we are requesting a 50-foot reduction. And like Mr. Martin said, there's a 100-foot requirement. We're asking for 50-foot. Which this board can certainly grant. And if I could share my screen, I'm smart enough to figure this out. I don't know if you guys can see that on your end. I think you can. I think to answer Ms. Burrell's question, we do have a plethora of trees and a berm, for that matter, along the south side of the parcel. There's some apartments and residential zone district to the south. The parking lot, just for reference, this is the 330 Clay Road building up here. It's a little off, kind of secluded off the page here, but this parking lot, like Mr. Martin said, would serve the 330 Clay Road Amazon facility. Remove those additional vans from the Dome Arena and bring them to this location, kind of consolidate everything. And again, we do have a plethora of not only of a landscape berm with some green infrastructure, stormwater management practices, but some landscaping as well. That's a little bit hardy on the south side to kind of add to that screening buffer. So hopefully that kind of clears things up.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Sorry to interject. My apologies.
Pardon me?
Sorry to interject. My apologies.
No, thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't really know you were out there. That's my bad.
I'm always watching.
Pardon me, Mr. Chairman, could we just have your name again?
Yeah, you can. Tim Harris with Passero Associates.
Thanks, Tim.
242 West Main, 14614.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Harris, can you zoom in on that southern property line and can you show me where that existing parking lot from Clayton Arms, is there going to be any existing vegetated buffer from Clayton Arms left?
There will be a little bit. Here's the edge of parking. The aerial shows it a little better. Here's their dumpster enclosure, kind of encroaches on the property, but pavement edge here, property line, and then our landscaping and berm will be along this area right here.
Yeah, so there just isn't much space between that northern parking lot and the northern property line. There probably won't be any existing vegetation.
Correct. There'll be a little bit left. We'll try to maintain as much as possible. But again, we are, if I flip back to the landscape plan here quick, we are adding in not only a berm, it's about 3 foot tall, but we are adding a plethora of not only deciduous, but evergreen trees as well.
Okay, and has that already been approved by CNP?
Yes. Yeah, we had an in-house landscape architect designed that, sign off on it, and I believe we had a few comments from Stantec, the town's landscape engineer, which we've addressed and replied to those comments as well.
Okay. And are those planned to be planted this year?
If all goes right, yes.
Thank you. The only other, I guess, question, I don't know if this was already answered, if I missed it. This is still an active construction site. I mean, this is the T-Mobile site that started under construction. It's still active. It's being split up into different projects. We still have now, in a sense, 2 projects going on this one site. The other lot 1 remaining land, what's planned for that parcel?
At this time, there is nothing planned for that
So it's
parcel.
been cleared
Correct.
and
It's
rough
been-
graded.
And seeded. It's been
Okay.
restored.
Yeah, that was a point of contention that has to be back to stabilization before we can keep moving forward from that. And the rest of that is all parking lot. Right, Tim? The rest of that whole southern parcel of lot 2, east of the
Correct.
mountains?
Yeah, correct. This will all be parking lot as recently approved by the town administratively, like Mr. Martin said. These remaining lands, like Marty said, will remain topsoil and seeded at this point for future development. And then this stormwater management facility has been constructed and is either in process or has been stabilized with seeding.
Yeah, it's been pretty stabilized. It needs a little touch up, I think, but otherwise it's been active for pretty close to a year, I think. The T-Mobile site grading had a swale on the south side of lot 2 from the east to the western pond. Is that in conflict with this new berm?
No, we've actually designed a swell there to not only complement, but kind of carry that thought process from the former design plans forward to this. And additionally, we've also got some green infrastructure practices along the southeast corner or the southern eastern portion of the parking lot as well. So we did our grading plan does show a berm and a swale there that does carry water from the parking lot through a vegetated swale and then into the pond. And we are currently working through the SWIP with the town engineer.
So, did we lose you?
Can you still hear me?
Yep, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was good. I was done.
Okay, you're working for the SWIP with Joe, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Is the swale on the north side of the new berm?
If I recall correctly, we can just flip to the drawings. The beauty of doing this virtually, it's on the north side of the berm. So it captures, you can see the parking lot's graded from northeast to southwest. There's a green infrastructure practice here. And then the remaining parking lot is captured through the swale and then into the stormwater management facility that was recently or previously constructed.
Okay, so that's what I was just checking on too. This lot, the T-Mobile site, I don't have those drawings in front of me, but this was meant to be a parking lot still with a T-Mobile site. I don't know where the building was supposed to go.
A portion of it, yes.
Was supposed to be the road. There was a swale there and then they had
Yeah.
the access road coming up through
The
there.
building, was that building to the east side of this lot or
Yeah.
on
Yes, it was on the second parcel, what's shown as parcel 2 on your map.
parcel 2? So
there.
that was supposed to be the building
Correct.
and this was supposed to be the parking lot for the T-Mobile.
Yeah.
I don't think so,
That
Craig.
was
I think
Split
it's,
split the line there.
there may have been part of it on there, but most of it was going to be a separate lot that was going to be developed in a later date.
Okay. Okay, well, that was kind of my question, is I wasn't sure how far we were really augmenting plans that were originally approved that were kind of already half constructed.
No, that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, that's all the questions I have.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert.
Thank you.
Chair will recognize Mr. Neal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tim, I'm still a little confused about my map here that's been provided to me. We have 2 lot 1s. Could you explain why we have 2 lot 1s? I mean, is that just my misunderstanding of this or?
No, actually, you hit the nail right on the head, and I don't mean to cut Marty off. So Marty, if you want to answer, just tell me to be quiet. But Mr. Neal, I'm going to zoom back here. I don't have the subdivision map in front of me. I apologize, but this will suffice. This is part of Lot 1. And then there's actually these 330 Clay Road and this parking lot actually do not connect. This Lot 1 it's a kind of weird looking flag lot. So the stormwater management area, this private drive, and this back area all consist of Lot 1. This 30-foot strip, which you can kind of see here, if you can see my mouse, I'm not sure if you can see from there, gets conveyed to 330 Clay Road, like Marty said. And then this about 6 acres of parking lot will be a standalone lot, which yes, it is landlocked. However, as part of the subdivision map, which is shown on your drawings, I believe, we'll have an access easement from Clay Road all the way back that will be conveyed at the time of subdivision.
Okay, so they really are together.
Correct, yes.
Okay, but just separate. Okay. And could you explain again what the 30-foot wide Lot 3 is? What's that?
Yeah, so this strip, I don't know, again, if I hope you can see this on your end, and I apologize for not being present, but this 30-foot strip here, if you can follow the hand all the way down, that will be conveyed to this, from this point here, and this is the 30-foot width. That'll be conveyed to 330 Clay Road, which is the existing building here. And the purpose of that is to give a little bit more space behind the 330 building for the vehicles that are back there, mainly the semis that use the loading docks in this area right here.
Okay, it's just to give them some additional,
Little maneuvering room.
is that what it is? Just extra room for them?
Yep, exactly.
As far as the buffer is concerned, Chris, I assume we did send letters out to the manager of the apartments or whatever?
I'm not aware that we did that, no.
But I understand that we didn't get any, anybody here for the public hearing, which I assume would have been residents, but
Yeah, and to answer your question, Mr. Neal, yes, we did send letters out for the public hearing, but we did not get any comments back from any of the surrounding residents.
we're not sure if we sent one to the manager, who would probably be the one who would really respond.
Yeah, I mean, we sent it to whoever was the owner of the parcel, correct?
Okay, do you think we've done our diligence there and we're safe to proceed?
I believe we have.
Okay, I guess I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Neal, let me just ask your opinion on the granting the relief for the buffer. Are you comfortable with that? From the 100 to the 50?
Come back to me.
Okay. The chair will recognize Mr. Page.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My comrades have covered pretty much all of it. I did have a question on the transitional buffer. I should know the answer. I haven't been 8 years on the town board, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Can the planning board grant that relief, or is that a zoning boards of appeal issue?
No, the way it's stated in the code, Mr. Page, is that the planning board can grant that relief.
Okay, I
It's-
didn't realize that.
It's the same situation where if you have behind a building, the rear setback is 60 feet, but if you don't have a loading dock, the planning board can grant relief from 60 feet to 30 feet.
Right.
So very similar.
Thank you. And then I assume the rest of these comments, including the 911 numbering and all that, would, even if we granted preliminary subdivision approval, that would have to be completed before final, correct?
It can, the planning board can, if they don't feel there's any other questions or hard issues, that they can grant final approval tonight or final subdivision approval. It's certainly up to the board if they want to entertain that.
Thank you. I'm all set.
Mr. Page, are you comfortable with the relief?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
given the fact that I don't think there's a big significant negative effect to the apartments. I looked at the buffer. I think it'll be okay.
Thank you. Yep, and the chair agrees as well. So, Mr. Neal, we're back to you for your opinion, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Mr. Eckert.
just as an off comment, the this Amazon corridor, as it's turning into to a degree, is just continuing to grow. And as obviously, this kind of a facility is very new in this area. I don't think they intended, the amount of traffic that this facility has been getting. And I'm not sure how much COVID on top of that played into the accentuation of this, as this thing just continues to grow and grow and grow. We've been watching it for the past 2 years, from one parcel to 2 to 3 to 4, and who knows what's next. So it doesn't seem to stop changing.
So we're not done yet, is what you're saying.
I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert.
Can I ask a question regarding T-Mobile?
Yes.
Is that off the table?
I guess the best answer for that, Mrs. Barrow, is it's hard to say. They were looking at to put it downtown. However, I don't know if that's off the table or not, but certainly a decision has not been made.
Okay, thank you.
So we're still hopeful that's a good chance that it will go there.
Thank you.
Okay, so I can move into seeker? Yep, thank you. Seeker review indicates the action under consideration is an unlisted action as per section 617.7 C1 VIII. The Henrietta Planning Board, as lead agency, has determined that the proposed action described below will not have a significant effect on the environment and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be required. The action under consideration is a site plan application by Clay Road Properties LLC. It is an unlisted action and will not require a conditioned negative declaration. The purpose of this application is for preliminary subdivision approval of a 3-lot subdivision of the 19.55 acres located northeast of the corner of Clay Road and Strassenberg Drive in an industrial zoned district. Tax account number, I don't think I need to say that, I'm sorry. All relevant areas of environmental concern were identified. Evaluation and examination were carefully made in relation of the existing conditions versus the proposed site improvements. It has been determined that there will be no adverse environmental effect as a result of the proposed action. I, James Gruner, therefore make the motion that we make a negative declaration and that the chairman be authorized to sign the statement of environmental significance. Do I have a sufficient second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve? The chair will entertain a motion on application number PB 325, and we can move directly to final, correct, Mr. Martin, if we choose to do that. So we can also consider that as well.
Did you make a motion?
No, I'm throwing it out, putting it out there.
Oh, okay.
But the chair can certainly make the motion to approve final approval of application number PB 325, granting the relief from a buffer of 100 feet to 50 feet.
Correct.
And do I have a sufficient second?
No, you can go right to final.
I'll make the second.
Thank you, Mr. Page. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The motion carries. We're all set. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I believe you need to make a motion to approve the final subdivision. I think we just did seeker and then we did the buffer.
Okay. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, no problem. Unless I'm missing something, I could be totally off here.
I thought that
I thought
there was
that's
a
what
motion
Just
for
did the final.
final subdivision.
Yeah,
Yes, that's.
Tim, we did the seeker and then we went right to a final
Oh,
approval.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yep, that's okay.
All right. And for the record, the Bills are up 7-0.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks, Marty.
You too. Okay, next item on the agenda is application number C20-001 4799 West Henrietta Road redevelopment subdivision for conceptual review only of a 3-lot subdivision of the 5.20 acres of property located at 4799 West Henrietta Road in the commercial B1 zone district. Who is here this evening representing the applicant, please?
Good evening. My name's John Clark. I'm with the DDS companies, and
Hello,
I'm
John.
here tonight on behalf of Donahoe Management.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr.
I
Ray.
had a question. I'm confused on what we're actually doing here. I mean, we're getting a conceptual review of this 3-lot subdivision.
No.
And that's a concept. And then we're going to site plan approval of 2 restaurants on these. Are we supposed to be doing a approval of the
No.
concept?
No, we're not. We're just doing the concept this evening.
So how do we go to approval of 2 restaurants and
We're not.
we're not?
We're not. That's correct. Yeah, the agenda's been modified. We're just
Thank
doing
you
the
very much.
concept
I
tonight.
wasn't
Yep.
aware of that. Okay.
Okay, John,
Sure.
nope, that's okay. Thank you. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so this is, we're just talking about the subdivision at this point, correct? Or are we
Correct.
talking subdivision and site plan?
I'm sorry?
Are we just talking subdivision right now or subdivision and site plan?
Subdivision.
Just subdivision this evening.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, we're gonna talk.
You do both?
No, you can listen to their site plan. You can't act on.
Right.
Okay.
So
We're gonna do the subdivision first, and then we're gonna review the site plan second.
or you can do them in conjunction with one another if it makes it simpler conceptually. That's.
Yeah, we're not voting on anything tonight.
You're not-
So
you're
John,
not gonna
if you
vote.
want, just go ahead and talk about both then. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
might make it a little bit easier.
Okay.
So the reason that we're here tonight, just talking about concept is because the town board is lead agency for the seeker approval, and we are not on the agenda until tomorrow night for them. I'm hoping to receive our seeker determination and our special use permit at that time. But we felt that we wanted to kind of be ahead of the game here and get the plans in front of the planning board. And we appreciate you seeing, hearing the conceptual layout tonight and where we sit with things. So appreciate your time this evening. So the parcel that we're talking about is located at 4799 West Henrietta Road. It's adjacent to the Wendy's property, just to the south of it. The owner is Donahoe Management. The total acreage is 5.2 acres. It's zoned commercial B1, and it has frontage on both Lehigh Station Road and West Henrietta Road. There is an existing building that's on the site, and it is scheduled to be demoed within, hopefully by the end of the month, but within a month is the latest it should be. The proposed subdivision that we would like to do, taking the 5.2 acres into 3 separate lots. Lot 1 would be 1.08 acres with frontage on West Henrietta Road and would be to the southern portion of the property. Lot 2 is 0.63 acres with frontage on West Henrietta as well. And that would be on the northern side of that West Henrietta frontage. And then lot 3 is 3.5 acres. That would be to the west with frontage on Lehigh Station Road. The project that we would like to do is constructing 4 new buildings that total approximately 31,600 square feet. Lot 1, which is the 1.0 acre parcel with frontage on West Henrietta, we're proposing a 3,500 square foot Burger King to be constructed there. Lot 2 is a 0.63 acre parcel with frontage on West Henrietta. A new 2,200 square foot quick service restaurant is proposed there. We do not have a tenant at this point. And lot 3 is a 3.5 acre parcel with frontage on Lehigh. We're proposing a 17,000 square foot retail building and an 8,900 square foot office building. There are no tenants for those buildings either. Access to all 3 lots is proposed from both West Henrietta Road and Lehigh Station Road. We're able to meet all the parking requirements, and we're working on a revised landscape plan at the moment. and lighting will also accompany the plans. Public utilities. For Lot 1, the Burger King, we're proposing to run a new 4-inch service that will be pulled from the existing 12-inch main on the east side of West Henrietta Road. Similarly, sanitary will be a new 6-inch service pulled from the 10-inch main on West Henrietta Road. Lot 2, also pulling a new 4-inch service from West Henrietta Road. And the sanitary will be a 4-inch service that's pulled from a new 8-inch main that we would like to run through the property. And that would also be pulled from the 10-inch main on West Henrietta Road. Lot 3, the retail and office. The water will be a new 6-inch service pulled from the 24-inch main on south side of Lehigh, and sanitary would also be a 6-inch service pulled from the new 8-inch main that we would be running into the site. Stormwater, our initial plan here is to collect all the runoff from the impervious areas through a series of catch basins and bioretention areas, 4 bays, and ultimately to the extended detention pond. That pond is probably going to be a mix of above ground and underground. We're working the SWIP report out right now. We're just about done with it, but it will be a bit of a mix there. The outlet for that will be to the 24-inch main that runs along the west side of West Henrietta Road. As I stated, seeker process is being led by town board. The long form's been completed, traffic study's been completed, and a letter of no impact has been obtained from SHPO. We've received comments from Monroe County DOT, New York State DOT, Monroe County DRC, and the town engineer. So at this point, that's the project we have, and I would be happy and glad to answer any questions that I might be able to.
Thank you. It is just a concept, so we can open it up to the board.
Very, very quickly, this is the same area. We had some relatively recent kind of animosity with the items that were going in there. So are you taking that into account when you are, I mean, you know what's going in there. So are you taking that into account with architecture that matches the surroundings more appropriately?
I'm not aware. I've not been made aware of any animosity that has gone on for this parcel. I would be happy to understand what issues there might have been. The Burger King that we have proposed right now is their new style of architecture that they have. It looks very nice. It's updated from their older look. It's more in the line of what McDonald's did across the street. Yeah, I would be glad to get any information I could of historical issues.
Actually, my apologies. I'm looking like a mile down the road.
Oh, okay.
I was actually looking at Erie Station, not Lehigh Station.
Gotcha. No problem.
My mistake. This looks fine. Thank you.
I was scratching my head on that one. Okay. Yeah. I for one was very happy to see this come. I drive by there quite a bit because I live up that way, and I just made a comment not 2 weeks ago, just kind of commenting to my family that I was surprised it was still sitting vacant for so long. So that's going to be a nice enhancement to that corner, quite frankly.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of comments or questions, I think, at this point. John, this is Craig Eckert. I think we talked about this also in concept when we came in. There is a pretty good existing vegetated buffer already. What would be I think it's lot 3 where the office and the retail is.
Yes.
Along the southern and western parcel. As as a concept, goes, we would love to see that kept. It looks like it's doing that here in this drawing. Like to see that continue. Would be a great addition to keep those trees that are already, nice and tall between the two. Sanitary question, is this flowing into extension 37, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, and that's already in INI and inundated?
Yeah, so the applicant will have to pay extension 37 impact fees for when they come online. So John, if you need, we can send you that information.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, because the first we heard of it was with the comments that we received. So, we understand. If you could send that over, that'd be great. We could take a look at it. And Craig, just quickly to go back to your comment, similar to the last project, we will be requesting a reduction in that transitional buffer. As Craig stated, there's already an existing vegetated buffer there that's very mature. We're trying to keep all that, everything that's certainly not on our property will stay there. And there's a lot of trees there. We do have to put a bioswale up there, but anything we can do to enhance that vegetated buffer, we certainly will be doing that.
Excellent. Yeah, sanitary at 37 is going to be a fun thing to tie into.
Okay, yeah, we were not aware of that. So we'll work with the engineering department and make sure that we do it right.
Okay. The only other comment I had was back towards the lighting and just to make sure if you can have that evaluated with a ComCheck, a compliance check for energy code.
Okay.
And just make sure we're not lighting this thing up like a Walmart.
No, understood.
DSX ones that are similar to what we even have here in town, but it looked like 163 watts were in good shape for that, but I just want to run it.
Yep, we'll do.
Okay, so that's the only comments I had. We've seen this a couple times, so it looks better and better each time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Record. Mr. Page?
Yeah, thank you. I spent quite a bit of time, as most of the comments were engineering, and then tonight we were presented your response, the updated response, I guess, was received today. So in demolishing, I think it was the Henry Hansen, wasn't it a tractor and implement sales years ago? I believe that building was, huh?
Hanson or
Helping, I mean, yeah, got the H right. Was there any, do you think there was any repair, any chance that the soil could be contaminated? Any storage tanks? Or maybe in those days, I don't think they knew what an oil separator was, but is there any issue with that?
No, there isn't. We've completed environmental site assessment. There is some asbestos within the building, and that will be abated. And when the demo happens, that'll all happen per standards and regulations for removing asbestos.
Okay, thank you.
I believe, John, I thought there was 2 spills on the site, but they've been remediated.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. On the site, I would have to double check to be certain. I thought there was something nearby, but not necessarily on the site, but you could be correct there. But I knew that there were no issues that would prevent us from purchasing it. I'm sorry, Donahoe from purchasing it. So we'll double check that and make sure.
Yeah, the town would be very sensitive about that issue. That's why I brought it up.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think it's an issue
Reading
at
some
all.
of the comments in the traffic study, which is difficult to read for the common person. Can you tell me what your final plans are for the road cuts?
Yeah, so the Monroe County DOT owns Lehigh Station Road, and New York State DOT owns West Henrietta Road.
Right.
So both of those agencies will review the traffic study, or have reviewed the traffic study. The traffic study is very comprehensive. It takes into account not only the traffic that's leaving our development, but also the traffic that is happening elsewhere in that general vicinity, including the intersections nearby. So Monroe County DOT, when they reviewed the traffic study for Lehigh Station Road, they suggested that we eliminate the westernmost driveway that's leading to Lot 3, which is the retail building, and the easternmost entrance. They would like us to add a left turn lane from Lehigh Station Road into our development. So Lehigh Station Road in that area is very wide. It would take a restriping effort. We do not believe we would have to reconstruct any portion of Lehigh there. We would just have to restripe it and make sure that we have a left turn lane. Our revised plans will show that. We're currently having those reviewed by Monroe County DOT right now. We're also trying to see if we can't negotiate with the county to keep that the westernmost entrance to the development. we feel we can offer our tenants a bit more of a segregated entrance for the retail development that we have up top there, the building that we're proposing. So we'll work that out with Monroe County DOT, but we definitely will be adding a left turn lane from Lehigh Station into our development. So New York State DOT, they reviewed the traffic study in regards to the entrance onto on West Henrietta into our development. What they suggested and what they're requiring is that we install a very similar ingress egress as they have at Wendy's, which is a right out when you are heading south on West Henrietta, and you can turn left or right into the development from West Henrietta, but it'll be a right only coming out of there. So those are the mitigating factors that the traffic study revealed and that we have no problems addressing.
Okay, and that's what I thought I read. So the way it appears now, then the western entrance to the office building would disappear, correct?
That's what the county would like us to do. We feel like it's in our tenants' best interest to keep that there. Our traffic study did not yield that the result was that could be handled there. So we'll have probably some conversation with the county, but ultimately we'll end up doing what they want us to do there.
Okay.
It is an existing curb cut, both of them on Lehigh and the west. All three are existing, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. All right, and so if you end up with one curb cut on Lehigh Station Road, a second means of egress during an emergency could be through the restaurant area, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
The rest were engineering, I'm all set.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Page. Chair will recognize Mr. McIntyre.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome.
Follow up with this western entrance. What's the site distance from the top of the hill to that curb cut?
Oh, let's see if I have that right in front of me. It is better than the site distance on the eastern entrance, just due to the fact that it's higher on that hill. So I don't have it right in front of me. I apologize. We'll make sure that that is on the site plans. It's one of those things that, we know we have sufficient site distance there, but it is closer to the top of the hill. So the site distance actually is a little bit better there than it is on the eastern entrance, but we'll make sure that those are on our final site plans.
Kind of appeared when I looked at it that there wasn't a heck of a lot of reaction time once you crested that hill before you got to that western driveway, proposed driveway. And it might be another reason why it should be eliminated. Somebody trying to exit out of there slowly, somebody coming up over top of the hill could be an issue.
Yeah. No, we'll be working with the DOT on that closely. So like I said, if they agree to that, they'll shut us down on that, and we'll give them what we would like to do, but ultimately they'll tell us what we need to do.
The other concern I had with this site was the stormwater, the proposed stormwater plan for handling runoff. It appeared to me, based on the slope of the site, that during significant rain events, you might have a lot of your water bypassing catch basins and running all the way down into West Henrietta Road. Do you have any kind of a method to eliminate that?
Yeah, that will not happen. We've got we'll be draining those catch basins. Will be sized to handle the rain events that are required. We're going to have curb on the site. The only areas that will not have any curb is in the front. Once you get into the site, we do have some bioretention swales that we would like to sheet drain into. And then those bioretentions will move back to the extended detention ponds. But we'll make sure that we size the catch basins and all the stormwater systems to handle that water. We know that we can't have stormwater running out into a DOT roadway. The DOT will review this entire plan and make sure that any of that water that we're proposing because of this impervious surface will have to be captured and handled. So yeah, that water will not be making its way out to West Henrietta or Lehigh.
Chris, is Vanguard going to do a review of this SWEP?
Yeah, so, yes, this Vanguard is engineering will review the SWIP as well as the storm sewer sizing calculation.
And what about the grease traps? Are we going to need several grease traps? Have you seen any of the calculations for those?
Yeah, we'll need to see for both restaurants, they'll require a grease trap. We have not seen that yet, but it'll be forthcoming. The retail area and the office area probably will not.
John, what's the percentage green space on this site?
We're right around 40, a little over 40% right now.
40%. I know the Conservation Board was looking for that number, but you're saying, and I assume this includes the retention ponds? Makes it.
Yeah.
40%?
Did he answer? Did he hear you?
Yes, he said yes.
Yes, the retention ponds are included.
And the only other issue I had when I saw this was, will the elimination of the trees that are up towards the top of the site, will those cause more glare coming from the Patrick site to impact the residents of that subdivision at the top of the hill?
Well, we're going to try and maintain as much of that as we can, and we're also going to be planting some additional trees. But our main effort here is to screen our development from those residents. It's kind of hard to screen lighting from that dealership over there. It's pretty bright, but again, it's difficult for us to screen other properties from our property.
Will you be positive or negative on this site as far as soil removal?
I don't know that off the top of my head. It's always our intent to balance a site. And this site has some decent slope to it from one side to the next. So we're hoping to balance it, but there may be a need for some import, but we'll have all that calced out and provided on the site plans.
Last question, will you be developing the entire site all at the same time, as in you'll be opening up all the vegetation so that the entire site is susceptible to muddy runoff?
Well, I can't speak exactly for the owner. At this point, we have one tenant who is interested. The Burger King is definitely interested in moving here and developing that site immediately. We are looking for a final site plan approval for lot 3 and the development there as well. The lot 2, obviously, we cannot get a final site plan on that until we have a tenant and go through the special use permit process. But I would believe that between now and final site plan approval or shortly thereafter, we'll most likely have some tenants that are ready to do some building in the back. So I would say, without 100% certainty, I would say the intent would be to, yes, we're going to get final site plan approval and open up the lot and start building these things.
Okay, and you're aware of the potential hazard due to the slope of the site and the runoff that could occur. If we get one big significant rain event, you've got your ground uncovered. Everything would dump into West Henrietta Road.
Nope, we will make sure that doesn't happen. And I know for a fact that Craig will not allow that to happen.
You're welcome.
Before you call someone, I wanted to mention that you're also asking for a reduction for the 100-foot buffer to 50 feet as well. I just wanted my board member team to know they're asking for the same transitional break. And I just wanted to make sure you mentioned the other.
Again, we're not proving anything tonight, though. But
Yeah, I'm just saying.
it will be an ask going forward.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Neal.
I had a couple of questions. Chris, as far as the traffic study is concerned, what came from Monroe County asked that a number of changes be made. That eliminate one of the accesses And they also speak of eliminating the Wendy's driveway because they want to put an access to one of the other lots. And I'm wondering if this is a little bit more serious than, you know, letting them work out. And then the other thing, as far as the traffic study is concerned, our own consultants have said, we have some questions and we'll be happy to see the revised report, as though they're kind of passing on it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the revised report just came out today, so I passed it on to our consultant, Barton LaJudas, so they're looking at it. You know, the way I look at it, Larry, is, you know, Monroe County Department of Transportation has control of the Lehigh Station Road, and the applicant has to get a permit from them in order to get the curb cuts there, even though some of those are existing. And the same holds true for West Henrietta Road. I mean, that's New York State DOT control access, so we would have the final say in what happens. So in order to get the permits, either the Monroe County DOT and the state DOT have to be comfortable with what the layout's going to be, or they won't grant the permit. So it's like any project, you know, a lot of these questions do come up, but before the agencies, including the town, will sign off on, these items have to be addressed. So even though they may not have an answer now on some of these things, they will by the time that either the town or the DOT sign off on it.
So it's still okay to go before the town. I mean, I understand it's I guess, a subdivision decision, or?
Well, this is more of a, right now, the plot, look, we do have a concept subdivision in. And at some point, I'm going to guess, John, that things are going to be subdivided into the 3 lots, depending on how things move along. But we don't need approval or subdivision approval to approve the overall subdivision, because right now it's one owner. So obviously we can't make any decisions tonight, but at the next meeting, you know, we could vote, or the town planning board rather, could vote on, once seeker's done, on whether this development goes ahead. And if there are changes, like for example, with the facades of the buildings, or maybe the building size, like Marketplace Common or Market Commons or Market Square, they'll have to come back to the planning board as a discussion item, or to review any significant changes. So I don't think we'll see the last of this, you know, this year. It'll probably go into next year, depending on when the tenants are lined up. So I guess to answer your question in a roundabout way, Larry, the plans in the report don't have to be perfect for the planning board to sign off on them. They just have to be knowing that they're going to be addressed. And if they're not addressed, then a town and the other government agencies aren't going to sign off on them. Does that make a little more sense?
Sure, that's fine. I would simply ask that we insist as a planning board that the plans, when they come back, actually reflect what they're going to build, and not be, well, cross that off, because we don't mean to do that. You know, we don't want that. We want the plans to represent what they're going to build, and not this one come back with changes scrawled all over the thing. The other question I do have for the applicant is that you went before the Conservation Board and they tabled you. They didn't pass you, they tabled you. And I was just wondering what it is you're planning to do then from that.
So, Mr. Neal, I want to address, you know, your entire comment. I want to make you feel at least a little bit more comfortable. We're in the design process right now, and we wanted to get in front of the planning board and hear any comments that you had, to make sure that our plans, while we can't receive a decision this evening, our plans will be better off for it next time around, because we're getting your input. So what you see in front of you certainly isn't a complete set of plans. It's really kind of a cursory set, just to get your feedback. The same goes for the landscaping plan. We're working with a landscape architect who will address the comments that we received from the Conservation Board and from Stantec. And those plans will be revised, and we'll simply attend the next Conservation Board meeting, and hopefully have everything addressed to their liking. Similar to this evening, more or less will be tabled this evening. to come back with our final site plans. And certainly our final site plans and the next plans that you see will have all the comments that we've received from the town, the state, the county, any other review agencies. We'll have all of those comments addressed. The traffic that you brought up, that's what I was talking about previously, where the county is asking us to eliminate one of the entrances to the west and asking us to put a left turn lane in off of Lehigh Station. And the state is asking for us to put a right out only on the West Henrietta side of things. Those will all be addressed and our plans will reflect that. The potential combination with the Wendy's in the corner will be a difficult one. Our entrances don't line up. There's a grade change between the Wendy's property and this property that may prohibit that. And plus, that's something that the owners and developers on both the Wendy's side and our side would have to agree to. So rest assured, the plans that you see in front of you next for voting on will be a more complete set. But we really were just looking for some feedback from the planning board this evening. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But I want you to rest assured that we're going to address all the comments that we've received, and we're going to work hand in hand with the town engineers and the other review agencies to make sure that the plans are acceptable, because ultimately we need them to sign off on them, and they won't do that if they're not the way they want them to be.
Thank you. All set, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Mr. Neal. John, I just have a couple of things here. Did you receive the comments from our acting fire marshal, Mr. Eckwell, regarding the private hydrant and then the auto turn analysis?
Oh, yes, we did receive those.
Okay, good.
Yep.
And then there also the Stantec comments. There was quite a large amount of them as well. Did you receive those?
Yes, we did.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Any other comments from the board? Mr. Eckert?
I'm sorry. John, I'm sorry, one more quick question. I didn't ask this before. Are the retail and office buildings both supposed to be single story, or are they two story?
Single story.
Single story. Okay. No, that's the only question I had.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have one thing I wanted to.
Yes, Mr.
just-
Mistrella,
just
thank you.
Clarify. And it goes back to what Chris was saying. I think he used the word subdivision when he meant to use the word site plan at some point. And so I think what he's saying, and you can verify this, is as things stand, because this property is in single ownership, that the board could approve a site plan without approving a subdivision plan. Is that correct?
That's correct. That was my intent, because the subdivision is probably going to take a little bit longer.
Right.
Where the site plan, I mean, it may not make the next second meeting in October, probably the first meeting in November, I would imagine.
So the site plan as it's presented, if without the subdivision, is within code,
That's correct.
and the site plan as presented, assuming there is a subdivision as proposed, would also be within code.
That's correct.
Just to clarify for the
Thank you.
record.
Mrs. Brill, did you have something? No? Anybody else on the board? We all set? Okay, I think we're good, John. Thank you very much. We appreciate your stopping in tonight.
Great, thank you. I appreciate all the good questions, and we're looking forward to moving this along and look forward to see you next month.
Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, I think the last item on the agenda this evening is a discussion item. Planning board to review the building elevations for the remodel of the Bob Johnson Mazda located at 3755 West Henrietta Road.
Jim, just real quick, can I get a motion to table that application?
I'm
Or
sorry?
can I get a motion to table the site plan application?
Oh, okay.
Even though it was just
It
conceptual?
was just a concept though, right?
The subdivision was concept, the site plan itself was for final site plan approval.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'd crossed that off earlier. Okay. Thank you, Mr. McIntyre. Do I have a sufficient second?
Second.
Mr. Page, thank you. Thanks, Heather. Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
Okay.
All set?
Yes, thank you.
Good evening, all. I'm going to start by just going off script for one moment. There's all familiar faces in this room and that I've had the pleasure of working with for a long, long time. This is my first meeting here in front of the planning board without Peter Minotti here. And I just wanted to go on record myself, expressing my sadness for the loss that the community has and express my deep respect for the work that he did, being a resident myself for all those years. So I just wanted to say
Oh,
that.
thank you. We appreciate your comments. He is truly missed.
He really is. So,
Thank you so much.
yeah. So we're here to talk about Bob Johnson Mazda. The Bob Johnson Auto Group has purchased Marketplace Mazda and plans a wonderful freshening up of the building. I'm joined tonight by Nate Rozzi of Rozzi Architects. We also have the owner and owner's representative, John Love and Ian Love are online, should they be called upon. So we had previously sent around drawings and elevations and things, but we want to talk more about it and answer your questions tonight. We do have a product sample of what we're talking about, so we can bring that up if needed.
So the existing building, it's partially clad currently in some split face masonry that's been painted black with some corrugated metal. The new Mazda branding is to replace that with some smooth faced aluminum that John's placed over to the side. A mix of ephes, nice complementary colors. It's a nice modern design, chrome signage contrasting off of that black aluminum panel. The glass will be raised a little bit, but the overall roof height will not be changed. So we're maintaining that. And there's a nice lift in the front that brings a display car almost up to that second level. So it almost looks like it's two stories.
There's a button there, John.
The entire building will be painted also. The facade work is going to be on probably the first third on the two sides, the north and the south, and the entire front of the building is going to be reworked and reclad.
Can someone check if that microphone is on? We can't hear him online.
I just wanted to point out that the entire building will be treated either with new cladding or brand new paint. The drawings do show, I believe, that the front third of the building on the north and south sides will have new cladding, and the entire front will have complete new cladding. The cladding is not a painted surface either. Why don't you just take that up a little closer? It's very similar. We did the Dorsal Toyota a few years ago. It's very similar to the product that we put on there. It's almost a zero maintenance, very long-term, product. Doesn't need maintenance.
John, are you changing the size of the building?
Not a bit. No, we've been working with Chris on small changes to the site at what's called a jewel box, where that two-car lift is. We're going to be coming in at grade there, so we're just reconfiguring that little corner. We're not adding square footage. We're not adding parking spaces. We're not changing lighting. We're doing nothing to the site. And we had submitted and received administrative approval from Chris for the little bit of site work that we're doing. Most of this work is the exterior and then some changes inside to freshen it up and modernize it quite a bit.
I like the color scheme. The only thing I couldn't quite figure on was at your overhang, where you have the edging, you've got that painted a lime green.
No, that's gone.
Uh-huh. Oh, so that is going away. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Seemed kind of odd.
I think it's going to look nice.
Thank you. We do too, and we're very pleased to welcome Bob Johnson Auto Group to Henrietta. Hopefully, they'll be expanding their presence here as well. They're a first-class organization.
They're the U of R of car dealers. They're all over the place.
They
now.
are all over
It's,
the place. Number one. It's amazing.
Any other comments from the board? Or town staff or Mr. Mistrella? No? Nothing? Yes, it is. Yep. Okay, we're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Actually, I like the Bills are losing 14-10. Bills are losing 14-10.
Hey, Chris, do you want to talk about package pickup?
What?
The picking up of the packages?
Actually, there's two things I'd like to talk about. So we kind of hit the perfect storm. Did anybody else have troubles picking up their planning board packet this weekend? So one of the issues was the DPW was on their summer hours still. So it closes at 10 o'clock. And the person that's there, I think, is there till 2 o'clock on Friday. And of course, with the holiday being Monday, probably some of you didn't pick up your packets until Tuesday. Typically, if the packets are small enough, we try to mail them out. It used to be that animal control used to drop off the packets, but during the wintertime, it's very difficult for them to do that. So we haven't carried that through. So I guess we need a better system maybe. If we don't mail them, we can always have them in the engineering department, but it's not going to be 24/7. A lot of you do have your fobs that you can get in, so we may be able to put them in the lobby if you want to pick them up that way. But I guess I'm looking for any feedback of, how's it going? Is there better ways to do it? What are your thoughts?
Can't we fob them into the engineering office?
No, not in engineering,
Why not?
because
That works. So if we have a fob, we can get into the building, but not everywhere.
yeah,
At
so they can
midnight?
control where the fob is. So like, for example, you can probably get into the main meeting or the lobby, but not into the east wing or the west wing. There's a lot of sensitive information in both those wings, and not that I don't trust anybody, but we need to keep those areas secure, quite honestly.
So
That's
where-
why Mr. Eckert.
So where would you be placing the box of,
Well, we could put them out in the front lobby here, right near the engineering door, if that works, but we have to make sure that everybody's got a fob and that you can get in the town hall during those off-peak hours.
My picture was taken and he's taking care of it.
Good.
and any
Everybody else have a
non-planning
badge?
board member couldn't grab any of that stuff, right?
Yeah, so that would, well, and that's always the issue, that's why it's better to have a little more secure. Not that I think anybody would want to steal our packets, or the packets, but they would probably be in the engineering department during regular hours, but in hours that we're not here, then maybe we can put them out in the lobby. We just have to make sure that your badges can get you in over the weekend.
Correct.
Yeah, and to be honest, it was one of those perfect storms, Matt. It was one of those times where,
And it was only became a problem because it appeared that you could get them after hours. When in
summer hours
fact,
are
you really couldn't. Had I known you had to get them during the working hours, I would have gone then.
And in a month, they'll be 24 hour, DPW be 24
Right.
hours again. And are they now back to regular hours off summer?
Yeah,
They've
so after-
extended the summer hours into Columbus?
yeah,
Day?
so somebody would have been
today.
here till like 10 or 11 o'clock on Friday night. So it wouldn't have been an issue.
Now-
Saturday would have been tough.
There's the number on the door
Yep.
that says, if it's after hours, call this number.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's a
I've had to
call
call it
service.
a couple times and they've never known what I was talking about.
Yeah, they're clueless.
It's an answering service.
I know.
When you call after hours, they just want to know who to send it to. It's an answering service that hires, I think, part-time help. I've had a lot of trouble myself.
I was trying to reach that Sue you were talking about,
Right.
and they had no idea how to do that.
Yeah, and they're right. That would have been the answering service. If Sue was there, then she would, because she would know what you were talking about and where the packages are and things like that. Sue works at the DPW. The call service is
Outside.
outside.
But honestly, Chris, like Matt said, I agree. And I'm fine with either, but it hasn't been a problem picking it up there. This was just
Right. It's more
Columbus Day
convenient.
weekend and we've.
More convenient for you guys to leave them by the windows out by your door, right? I mean.
Yeah, and it's
technically,
possible.
so-
I'd like to talk it over with the supervisor to make sure he's okay with it, because it would have to be, 24/7 passed in order to do that. I mean,
To
that
get
would-
in, to get into this building?
Just
Right.
the lobby, yeah.
I mean, they're gonna worry about security.
I mean, I'm not worried about getting into the lobby. It's just the east wing and west wings that we're concerned about.
What about fobbing them into the DPW?
They could put it in the lobby there, but I'd almost rather do it here.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree because
I don't even have a fob to the DPW. Somebody as important as I am, you think that would have that, right?
With the potential of digitization, this was digital and Dropboxes in there.
Yeah, and we've talked about that, Matt. I'm certainly not only with this board, but the other boards as well. In order to do that, everybody would have to have like a tablet or a laptop or something like that.
wasn't that discussed for this budget hearing for next year?
Well, we talked about it, but quite honestly, next year's going to be a rough year. As this year was as well. So I think for right now, we're holding.
I think if we can get into the lobby of this building, it's easier for you guys just to set them out there.
Mhm.
You're not having to walk across the parking lot or drive over there to drop them off on a Friday afternoon. You just, if everybody approves, I'm okay with them being in here.
Yeah, so let me do it as a preferred method. And then if for some reason it gets kicked back, then we'll, continue using the DPW. But when we send the notice out, we'll let you know.
Is this for all of them or just the ones that are too big to mail out?
Probably the ones that are too big to mail out. I mean, does the mail work pretty well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in some instances, it does make sense to mail them out. This was a little bigger packet. Probably going forward though, and I think all of you have seen that, we're thinking of going to once a month for planning board. So if that's the case, we'll probably have bigger packages, I
Yeah.
would imagine. That it'd be difficult to mail out.
Chris, what's easier for you in your department?
I'm looking at Craig because I have a smart aleck answer, but I'm going to refrain from that.
Craig didn't answer the question.
No, he didn't. So I think the easiest thing, if we can keep them up here.
Good, do it.
My only concern would be is, make sure that everybody could get in.
Okay.
And to be honest, if for some reason you couldn't get in, you can always call me because I have the fob to here. I just don't have it for the DPW. Like in your instance, Steve, I was here for part of the day on Monday. I could have got it for you, but I don't have access down to the DPW, so I couldn't have done that. But here I could have.
Yeah.
But if we
I'm
come
only a
during,
short drive away.
if we come during normal working hours, we can just walk, go right in and get them from the engineering department.
So why don't we try that? If we don't mail it, what we'll do is we'll let you know either way whether we're going to mail them or if they're going to be here to pick up.
Okay.
We'll try that for a few meetings and we'll see how it works.
Sounds good.
And if it doesn't, then we'll have a plan B.
I'll abstain because I get mine dropped off on my desk.
Yeah.
You want us to hang on to the Riverton?
Yeah, so
Package.
that's a great comment. I don't know why I'm using a microphone.
You need to, because we're still live.
Still
We're
live.
still live.
We're still live? All right. So I'll still use it then. So hold on to your Riverton parcel lead packages. At some point, it's going to come back. I don't think it's going to come back for the next meeting in October, but probably one of the first meetings in November.
Okay.
So certainly hang on to that. And I would hang also on to the one we just saw, just in case we don't get updated plans. I think we will, but until then, I think it'd be a good idea to hang on to them. The only item, I do have homework for everybody. You saw the lighting, those are draft standards If anybody wants them electronically, I can, because I know you might. We can do that too, but what we're trying to do is to just take our minimum lighting standards that we have right now and take them to another level. Again, they're guidelines. If it looks like they're going to work, then maybe we'll, codify them and put them in our town code book. But for right now, I want to get something to developers to say, look, these are some of the things that we want to take to the next level, just like our landscape guidelines. So as far as getting them back, I don't need them maybe like the first meeting in November, if that would work.
Feedback?
Yeah. So I'll give everybody a month to take a look at them. You can give me a marked up version, PDF, or even just, an email. Okay. How do you think? We're also going to pass them on to the Conservation Board as well, so they can have some input.
Perfect.
And then, as you know, next year it looks like it's going to be a go down to one meeting a month. So,
Third Tuesday we're talking, right?
right, so it'll be the third Tuesday. So if you're thinking vacations, things like that, then you can kind of plan for a little bit better. We're going to try it for a year and see how it works. And if it looks like it's going well, then we'll keep it. Or if some meetings, it looks like things are getting, a lot, we may use that fourth Tuesday. That was kind of our catch-all. But the way things have been going, I think one meeting a month will probably work pretty well.
Okay. Chris, can you tell us anything about the Ward Hill development and?
Yeah, well, that's a
Are you
good point,
allowed to
Larry.
tell us anything? I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Should we adjourn first so Heather can go home and then,
Yes.
what do you think, Heather?
Please.
motion to adjourn? Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah,
Heather.
and can you cut the radio feed too?
Who got it?
Mr. Borkowski.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so
Mr. Neal, I can.
if those have been